Hello and welcome to Channels Book Club. My name is Olakunle Kasumo and it's great to be on the show again. This is the season of politics as the country heads into the 2023 general elections. It's a season where you hear all sorts of things, negotiations, horse trading, betrayals, and all manner of things we hear at this point in time from our politicians. But it's an exciting period, as serious as it is. But Nigeria's story is a story that is intriguing. It has always been intriguing since the colonial era, since the British negotiated, or some would say captured, this land that we call Nigeria way back then. And of course, the politicians who were there when the country was fighting for independence and the country eventually became independent, how they had to deal with one another, considering the fact that the country had been, well, more or less divided into North and South. The Northern and the Southern Protectorate came together in 1914. And since then, there has been that politics going on between the two regions. Even up until now, no matter how much some people don't like to admit it. Now, all this and more are in the book we are featuring today, Becoming President of Nigeria, a Citizen's Guide. Well, this book is not about step one, how to be president of Nigeria, step one, this, step two, that, step three, that, step four, that. No, it's a very captivating book which talks about the story of the making of Nigeria and the dynamics that make up this country, religion, multi-ethnicity, and the likes that come together to make up Nigeria, and how all these dynamics influence politics in Nigeria. It's a book you have to read, written by Magnus Onyibe. He's our guest today, and it talks a lot more about the book. You'll learn more from him about the book than from whatever I tell you about it. Please stay tuned.
Magnus Onyibe is a public policy analyst, media columnist, and author. Onyibe was a broadcaster with Nigeria Television Authority and a two-time commissioner in Delta State. He is the founder of Inspire Group, which comprises of Inspire Realtors Limited, Inspire Media Services Limited, Inspire Consulting Limited, and Inspire Auto Service Limited. He is a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Management, Institute of Credit Administration, Institute of Strategic Management, and Institute of Information Management of Nigeria. Onyibe joins Channels Book Club to discuss his latest book, Becoming President of Nigeria, a Citizen's Guide.
Magnus Onyibe. Did I pronounce your surname well?
Onyibe.
Onyibe.
Yes.
Great to have you on Channels Book Club.
Thank you.
Great to have you here once again. Now, it's been a while, and you've written this book, Becoming President of Nigeria, a Citizen's Guide. There's so much to talk about in this book, but for viewers who are watching, what's your book about?
The book is about rekindling hope in Nigeria, that we're operating a democracy. It's not an aristocracy, it's not a monarchy. That every Nigerian, no matter their station in life, can become president of Nigeria, irrespective of the incongruities in the system right now, whereby people are beginning to think it's not government of the people, for the people, and by the people. You know, they are beginning to think it's government of the rich, because if you take into consideration the huge amount of money that an individual is supposed to pay to obtain nomination form, ticket 100 million for the APC and 40 million for the PDP, people would think that that kind of money is not within the range of regular Nigerians. But that just happened now, and it wasn't there before I wrote this book. But nevertheless, there's still hope that anybody, any Nigerian that is of age, 35 years, that went to school up to school certificate. Mark you, he doesn't have to have school first school living certificate. Doesn't have to have it. if you look at it, the nitty-gritty of it, can become president of Nigeria. And indeed, of the 5 people that have been presidents in Nigeria, 3 of them have been school teachers. And if you remember what people used to say, that the reward for teachers is in heaven. The reward is here on earth. From Alhaji Shehu Shagari to Umar Musa Yar'Adua and to Goodluck Jonathan. They were all teachers. The other 2 have been soldiers. And you know what they used to say as well about bloody civilians and bloody soldiers, whatever, So Olusegun Obasanjo, General Olusegun Obasanjo, who became president in 1999, and PMB, President Muhammadu Buhari, who was head of state a long time ago, is also another one. So there's hope that anybody who aspires to be a Nigerian can become president in Nigeria, and that's what I'm trying to rekindle.
So your book is a guide to people like me, everybody out there, for anybody who wants to become president or who wants to understand the process and requirements of becoming president in Nigeria.
You're right.
And it's not as simple as, step 1, buy form, step 2.
Absolutely.
Because in this book, you've gone into history.
Absolutely.
To understand the dynamics, the complexities that make up Nigeria, and to put a presidential candidate within that context. Am I correct?
Absolutely. What I did here, in fact, if there's a piece in one of the chapters that says, if you want to become president of Nigeria, be like Chief MKO Abiola of blessed memory. The reason is that MKO Abiola was a people's man. He built up that court followership over time through philanthropy. He was a pillar of sports in Nigeria. He owned a newspaper house. He had
businesses.
He had businesses here and there. He was a Muslim, but he reached out to Christians. MK Abiola would attend your event in Karanamuda and in Enugu and in Ibadan or Bomosho anytime, any day. So he reached out. So he built a cult followership. That's why he was well accepted, and he was able to even beat Daraki Tufa, his challenger in Kano. Tufa was from Kano, so he beat him in the election there. And that's also one of the reasons why that 1993 election is adjudged to have been one of the freest and fairest in Nigeria.
Interesting. Now, let's get to the core of your book. It seems to me that something you wrote on page Roman numerals 22, correct me if I'm wrong, if this is the core of your book. Unfortunately, it has become obvious that identity politics has become the rule rather than the exception in Nigerian political space. And it is, without doubt, the scourge hindering Nigeria's progress and development, therefore a major malaise. It may be recalled that a plethora of measures have been introduced towards achieving ethnic harmony and pursuit of nationhood.
Absolutely.
It looks like, as far as you are concerned, that multi-ethnic, multi-religious nature of Nigeria and our inability to handle that complexity is the bane of our problem.
That's absolutely correct. That's the bane of our problems. Nigeria is not the only country on earth that is multi-ethnic. As I also noted in the book, the UK it has the English, the Welsh, the Scottish, and the Irish. But one way or the other, they organize themselves and they move forward because they are operating parliamentary system. They're operating a system that works for them. And that's the system that they bequeathed to us. But after the coup, 1966 coup, and the counter coup and the war, and in 1979, we returned to democracy. We started this presidential system of government that's very expensive and that doesn't create a forum for us to be able to discuss issues as regularly as we should. If you remember, before 1966, there were constitutional conferences that were held. They were held in Ibadan, held in Kano, held in Enugu, and they worked out their differences. It's side, the three regions, when they had issues, they went there, they tabled it and whatever. And these things were resolved. But unfortunately, that kind of platform is not there anymore. The National Assembly that we have here is populated by people who are so interested in identity politics. And as I try to state further, the conclusion of this book is about identity politics, as well. And I talked about the myth of thinking that if somebody that's the president of Nigeria comes from your zone, that you are going to benefit in any special way. That has never, it really doesn't happen, as such. The people in Katsina, where the president comes from, are not so well off. They are faced with a lot of terrorism issues right now, and that they go on the street every day to protest, whatever, And I don't see any big difference that came from Obasanjo being the president of Nigeria, because the people in Ota still don't have road from Lagos to there, up to now, So there's nothing spectacular that happened in Ota or in Abeokuta for that reason.
So it's a myth?
Yeah, so it's a myth. The same thing with Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. There's no big deal in the place where he comes from. In fact, the only major institution in that place was founded by somebody who wasn't a politician, Tai Sholari. So he founded the school there, whatever. So Yemi Osinbajo was probably a kid when he founded the school, and he's been vice president for 7 years. What has he done there? So it's not that.
So why has that been? I mean, you've written a lot. Honestly speaking, I don't even know where to start from. I mean, from everything you've written here, because it's a combination of history and contemporary times. You try to juxtapose both.
Ancient and modern,
a lot, yeah. But let's hit the nail on the head. Let's put things down plainly. The issue of Nigeria from the beginning being divided into North and South, which you explained here. Chapter 1, trade as a unifying factor for cooperation between Northern and Southern Nigeria and all that. Over the years after, that dichotomy has affected our politics.
Correct.
And you explained how in the Fourth Republic, that became an issue in terms of rotating power from north to south, and how in 2023, it doesn't look like we're heading in that direction. Can you please explain this, as you have written in your book, how this affects our politics and how it will probably affect our destiny as far as 2023 is concerned? Yes,
it's a very dangerous development. 2023, it's what the problem is right now is, like I stated in my last article, is that the two major political parties are shadowing each other. Whether we like it or not, it's from the two major political parties, APC, the ruling party, and PDP, that the president of Nigeria in 2023 will emerge. Forget independent candidate. That doesn't happen in our constitution for now. The fringe parties cannot produce a president because they don't have the infrastructure. They don't have the structure to be able to do that. And now, all of a sudden, there's some kind of fear, by one political party over the other, that should a political party produce a candidate from the north, and the second doesn't do that, that the political party that doesn't bring a candidate from the north will lose the election. And that's based on some belief that the north has the biggest voting block for voting.
Voting block.
Yes. And that the north is monolithic. And that, so if they are not voting for their kid and kin, who is on the ballot, they are not going to vote for anybody else. Yeah. So, which is why both parties now are struggling to bring their kid and kin to be on the ballot. So that's a challenge. And if that happens, it vitiates everything that our forebears have done, because they know about the risks that we face with ethnic dominance and all that and all that. Yeah. That's why they created the Federal Character Commission. That's why they also did the rotation in 1994, 1995, because they want the fear to be allayed, the fear of the minority that the majority will dominate to be allayed. So that's why they want it to circulate. But unfortunately, it's in the north right now. And if it does not return to the south, this whole fear will be heightened. What we've been dealing with in the past 6-7 years would get worse because they will be agitated. Nobody wants to be enslaved. Nobody wants to be discountenanced. And they've been working based on the experience that they have. But it has not always been so. So, you know, it's not likely that, you know, what is happening now that people are complaining against would continue from 2023, even if the president comes from the north. But there's experience. The current experience is what is driving the fear right now. And we face that kind of risk that you just talked about.
So it seems like you are fully behind the idea of power rotation.
Power rotation is
for
actually...
a country like ours.
No, if you look at this book, actually, you know, if you go to the back blob, power rotation is actually not the best. It says it leads to zero-sum politics. Winner takes it all. When the Yorubas are there, let's take, for instance, OBJ. He built a castle, so to speak, of people of his ethnic group around him and stuff like that and whatever. Not to the extent that it is right now.
Which you wrote in your book,
Exactly,
yeah?
exactly.
Yeah.
Because actually, it's not his people of his ethnic group that put him there. You know, it's Nigerians, you know, that put OBJ there. In fact, the Yorubas didn't want him. You know, but yet he built his whatever. So now, the Hausas have come. No, okay, fine. After him, the Hausas were to come, but Late Yaradua passed away, and Jonathan came. So Jonathan built a castle of his people, whatever, and everything. In 2015, he was kicked out. So his castle came back all the way to ground zero. And now PMB is there, and he's building his own. If the thing goes to the north, to the east, the Easterner will come and bring it to ground zero and begin to build his own. So it becomes zero-sum politics when it should be multi-sum politics. So we are not going to grow because our growth is not incremental. We're bringing it down to zero and begin to build again when we should be building on top.
Well, this is where we have to stop. We don't want to let people read the whole book right here, do we?
Absolutely, no. You know, but incidentally, a lot of people are very curious. They're buying it off the shelf because some people think, you know, as you said, that it was like a manual. Like if you want to be president of Nigeria, eat eba in the morning,
Yes.
eat egusi in the evening, and drink tea in the afternoon, something like that. You know, but no, as you said, it has a lot of history.
Yeah.
You know, so it just to put things in perspective, and it's my way of giving back to society, really.
Well done. You've done well. Thank you very much for writing this, and thank you for joining us on Channels Book Club.
Anytime. I love coming to Channels Book Club, and I watch you a lot.
Thank you very much, sir. Oh.